Good evening. I'm Marsh. Yes?
Yeah, go ahead.
Good evening. I'm Marsha LINSKY, former magistrate, prosecutor, and currently criminal defense attorney. I am using On the Level with LINSKY to introduce new ideas and concepts involving the criminal justice system. I'm hoping to provide information, and hopefully we all learn something along the way. Tonight, it's my honor to have as my guest Kim Churchward, who is the Executive Director of Allen County Community Corrections. Allen County Community Corrections operates a community-based supervision program that recruits and recognizes a well-trained professional workforce to serve and protect our community, crime victims, and those adult offenders under supervision by effectively deploying the field's best practices, proven programming, and rehabilitative strategies to hold offenders accountable and promote their success, as is stated in their mission statement. Good evening, Kim. How are you this evening?
I'm well, Marcia. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Oh, thank you for being here. Can you tell us a little bit about your background that brought you to be executive director for Allen County?
Well, I don't know that I'm a new or innovative idea. In fact, I've been with the criminal justice system in Allen County for largely my whole life and certainly my entire career. I started in the mid-'80s. I had an opportunity to, in fact, be the first intern at the Allen County Prosecutor's Office, and I'm sure we'll talk about the fact that our paths crossed there. From that, I had an opportunity to work for the prosecutor's office as an investigator. I worked as the chief investigator there from 94, I think, until 2001. After that, I had an opportunity to go and work for the criminal courts here in Allen County, and worked very closely with Judge Gull, who I know has been a guest with you. Actually had some really innovative ideas working with the courts. We had an opportunity to actually consolidate all the court supervision programs and create what is now Criminal Division Services, which encompasses the drug court program that I know you're familiar with. So I had the honor of working with those programs up until 2014 when I went over to Community Corrections when the longtime director there retired in 2013. So I went there in 2014.
Wonderful, wonderful. And about how long was it that you were at the prosecutor's office?
Oh, my goodness. So, again, the internship at the prosecutor's office, I'm really aging myself. Thank you for that, Marcia.
Didn't tell you to say years.
Worked there in the mid 80s, and then when I graduated school in 87, I went to work full time at the prosecutor's office in 88.
If it makes you feel any better, I will let everyone know that I started at the prosecutor's office the same time you did, so we can age ourselves together.
Thank you very much. That does make me feel better.
When you were talking about Criminal Division Services, now you said you merged some agencies there. What were the agencies that got merged under?
Yeah, at the time that I went to work for the courts, they had the Alcohol Countermeasures Program, which is it serves the misdemeanor OWI population here in Allen County. It is a court alcohol and drug program, a state-certified court alcohol and drug program, still operating today, a really, really, really excellent utilization of resources by the court. Also, pretrial services for Allen County is operated through Allen Superior Court, and that agency was consolidated, as was the drug court program. So Criminal Division Services, even today, is an umbrella agency for those three supervision programs operated by the local courts.
And when you took the position with Allen County Community Corrections, did you find that experience coming through the contacts you made with the justice system, both through the prosecutor's office and Criminal Division Services, was beneficial for you?
You know, absolutely it was. And so much of what we do, and I know that you embrace this as well, Marcia, so much of what we do is based around relationships and relationships that we make in the system. And just that experience working both from the prosecution and then also administrative experience from both agencies and certainly that administrative experience with the creation of criminal division services and staff supervision and program development and utilization of community-based resources. A lot of the things that we do today at community corrections, certainly those were things that we did at criminal division services as well.
And what is it, when we talk about Allen County Community Corrections, what does that all encompass?
Oh, my goodness. Yeah, a lot. A lot. So what an amazing community resource. And I'll say this, we have really forward-thinking judges in Allen County. And we have really forward-thinking, our county council, our commissioners, our judicial officers are all very, again, forward-thinking and looking for creative utilizations of resources to try to help and support the citizenry. And often, particularly the population that we work with most, are those who are most in need. So community corrections is 145 full-time employees, as well as contractors and part-time staff. We have 2 facilities. Many of our operations operate 24/7, so we're certainly not a business operation. We do so many things that most folks don't really, I don't think they realize all of the services and support that we provide. So certainly we're offering the classic community corrections programs, electronic monitoring. We do have a residential program now that we can talk about in more depth if we have time, but electronic monitoring supervision, residential supervision. One of the things that makes our program really unique in Indiana is several things, actually. Our communications division. So we have a 24/7 communications division that serves as both a call center for the clients under our supervision so that they can have 24/7 access to staff for their needs or questions or resources. They also then serve as a dispatch center for our home detention team. We have a large and dynamic home detention team. We work really closely with the Allen County Sheriff's Department with that team. They do have special deputy authority through the sheriff, and we're able then to utilize that team for community accountability, for program compliance. It really is kind of a compliance side, if you will, those 2 divisions of what we operate. We offer classic case management services, intake and screening, those divisions as well. But then another thing that's unique, we have a whole clinical and programs division. So we have licensed clinicians on staff that are available to serve our clients, to conduct assessments for mental health and substance abuse, and assist in getting the clientele assessed and pointed to appropriate community resources. We have a marketplace. So every Tuesday we have, it's called the CBT Marketplace, the Cognitive Behavioral Therapy Marketplace. We created this in 2016. It serves our client base as well as clients from Allen County Adult Probation, from CDS, from the local parole office, from, I'm trying to think who else refers into our marketplace. But every Tuesday, all of these different criminal justice stakeholders can refer their individuals into our building. Our clinicians are on staff. Our teachers are on staff to do on-site screeners for mental health and substance abuse. Then, and I liken it to a vendor fair. We have representatives from Park Center there that if someone tests on our screeners that they are in immediate need of intervention, we can connect them to Park Center in the room. And they're there committed to give them then expedited entry into services with Park Center. We also have ClaimAid there. ClaimAid there is a benefit navigator. And if someone needs to start the process of that benefits, if they haven't had that opportunity before, if they've just come out of jail, for example, then ClaimAid is there to help them start the process to get their insurance benefits started. We have the Allen County Health Department in the room, and they're doing on-site testing, they're doing education for anyone who might be interested in that. Oh, we have LSSI Works in the room doing employment information and training. So if you kind of can visualize a vendor fair for individuals that are just entering the criminal justice system or just entering supervision with us, for example, everybody that comes under our supervision within their first week with us will go to the marketplace, and we'll start that rehabilitative process. We'll start connecting them to services. And then from there, they'll also get scheduled into classes. So we offer 7 different cognitive behavioral therapy curriculums in-house from our staff, free of charge. It's part of our supervision platform. And individuals, again, from probation, CDS, parole, our clients, all have an opportunity then to come in and take advantage of these CBT classes. So if you think about, I started describing the agency, talking a little bit about some of those accountability pieces,
Yes,
right?
yes.
And we focus on community safety and victim support. So those are kind of accountability. But we have all of these resources also that are intended and designed to provide rehabilitation. I look at it, or I liken it on occasion to someone comes to us and we have the honor of working with them, and we hold them as tightly as we can with one hand, but while we have them, we're going to do everything we can to give them rehabilitative opportunities and access to rehabilitative services in the community. So regardless of what program you may be working with us in, you're having access to those services. Oh, that clinical division also, we do screening, we do full forensic evaluations for Allen Circuit Court. For a certain population that is served through Allen Circuit Court. We have,
Do you still work closely? I know you traditionally did with ReEntry Court, and
we administer the ReEntry Court program here in Allen County. So we have, over time, we have administered 3 different problem-solving court programs for Allen Circuit and Superior Court. We currently administer the Allen Superior Court ReEntry Court program that is a problem-solving court administered through Judge Zent and Magistrate Kearns. The reentry court program, as I'm sitting here, I can't think when it was started. Retired Judge Surbeck created the reentry court program here in Allen County, and in fact, it was one of the first in the nation. Got national recognition and attention, and many other reentry court programs, both in Indiana and nationally, are patterned after that program.
I want to say 2000 or the early 2000s was probably when that program got started.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We administer the reentry court programs still today, utilizing the community transition program from DOC.
What is the difference? I hear about reentry and community transitions program, and there are a lot of similarities between those 2 programs. What are the differences?
Sure.
And can you kind of explain how that assists people coming back from the Department of Corrections?
Absolutely. Thank you for that. You started the program today, Marcia, by reading our mission statement.
Yes.
And one of the things in that mission statement talks about evidence-based practices. And one of the real core tenets of evidence-based practices deals with risk-informed supervision and risk-informed treatment. And so if an individual that is eligible to leave the Department of Correction is risk assessed and determined to be low risk, then that individual doesn't need the intensive supervision services that one may get through the reentry court program. So the community transition program is targeted for low risk individuals. It gives them an opportunity to come out of the Department of Correction early, to give us an opportunity to assist them with employment training if needed, treatment connection if needed, kind of that transition to the community. And again, it's a kind of a trade-off. They come out of the department a little early, gives us an opportunity to assist them in that transition back to the community. The reentry court program, however, is a state-certified problem-solving court. That is frequent contact with the judge, frequent court appearances, more frequent case management interventions. So that individual may be more moderate or higher risk in need of additional oversight, supervision, and connection to services for a longer period of time.
And it enables someone to come home from the Department of Corrections sooner.
Absolutely.
And it also helps that transition period. I know in my practice with criminal defense, I've found some of the most successful clients that I've had coming home from the Department of Corrections go through more of a transition time and perhaps a slower reduction in supervision.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So the problem-solving courts, and I know, again, Judge Gull has been with you, and I'm so proud of you. That's awesome. Has been here, and you talk about the problem-solving courts, and they all operate on a phases of supervision, with phase one obviously being a higher intensity level of supervision and a higher level of support. And then as you maintain compliance, you can move through the phases of the program to a point where you're really, the program is simply there, the judge is there as a support system in the background.
And typically, how long is somebody with your program? Is there kind of an average length?
There really
time?
isn't. I mean, again, we offer so many different programs and levels of supervision and services. I can tell you the classic, the electronic monitoring program, 6 to 8 months is a typical period of supervision, but that's a really high level of accountability. It's a very high level of supervision. So, it's not easy. It's not easy for folks to manage and participate in that level of supervision. Now, somebody may be in the residential program for up to a couple of years, or they may be in the ReEntry court program for a year typically, right? So there isn't really an agency average, but looked at more by the program.
And if I'm correct, when you reference the electronic monitoring portion of that, that's what a lot of people would refer to as home detention. I get to stay in my home, but I have an anklet on, and because of that anklet and GPS technology, I know there were different technologies years ago, but you're able to know where I'm at all times.
At all times. And if you look at that, again, I talked a little bit about our judiciary being so very forward-thinking. They give us the opportunity. So we pair that communications division where you have 24/7 staff and you have the latest GPS technology and our staff and our team, and we have an incredible team. And you put all of that together, and it enables us to supervise an individual who may be on an executed sentence, who may have to be able to do that and serve that sentence in the community. If we can structure a program of both accountability and rehabilitation for that individual. But indeed, home detention, an order from the court for home detention is just that. It is home detention. And leaving the property requires permission, schedules, passes, working with our staff on the monitoring. And then we have the monitoring division that is they love it when I say this, watching the dots on the screen, right? I mean, you're actually monitoring that.
Well, and there is some, both for people at residential services, and in that program you stay at the facility. Though there's statutory oversight and statutory requirements regarding reporting on some of the victim-related crimes. Am I correct in that?
Absolutely. So we work really closely, starting from the time that we receive a referral from the courts to consider someone for eligibility for placement in any of our programs. One of our first steps is to send correspondence, if there is a victim in the case, to begin a relationship is perhaps a little strong, but opening up that line of communication with that individual, asking them what their thoughts and needs and wishes might be, what kinds of things might they want to be notified about. And again, just having that open line of communication with them so that they have the ability to have some input and some say in that process.
And how do you determine, or what would the criteria be or differences be for someone to be eligible for home detention placement or just electronic monitoring versus residential services?
So that is often guided. It's often guided by the judge. It's their perspective. It may be guided by plea agreement from the prosecutor on what their perspective is about a level of supervision. I mean, certainly being residing at the residential services facility on electronic monitoring when you leave the facility is the highest level of community-based supervision that we have here in Allen County. And so that is certainly reserved for individuals who the courts or the prosecutor may feel requires. Or there may be individuals, and we serve a lot of individuals, that just don't have safe and stable housing, particularly those individuals from the Community Transition Program or the ReEntry Court Program that are coming back to our community, and they may not have housing available to them. So that was one of the things that the commissioners were really focused on in providing that service in Allen County, so that if someone doesn't have safe and stable housing, it doesn't preclude them from having access and the availability to some of the community supervision options that we offer.
And during the process, this screening process, the interviewing process, you also have staff that actually interviews the person who's going to be on the program.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that includes people who are at the jail awaiting sentencing?
Absolutely. So we have staff every day that are in the jail, working with the jail staff, as you say, interviewing individuals who may have interest or may have been referred. Somebody that's coming to us for home detention electronic monitoring, it's about the whole family. It's not just about that individual. So everybody in their family network who may be living there has to be willing to work with us and understanding of the rules and the regulations. So we spend a lot of time, we were talking before we started, talking a little bit about just kind of the volume. And in our downtown facility, we'll have about 300 people a day that come, and that is largely those that have been referred to us or their friends and family who may be residing with them. So we then also sit down with those individuals and explain the process, explain the rules, and seek their buy-in.
And it's very important, I know, both for your staff, because you have people that go out to the homes and do searches and check.
Yes. Yeah.
But if I'm living with somebody who's on the program, I have to abide by certain of those rules.
Yeah.
Not just for the person I'm living with, protection and safety, but for your staff as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, that's all part of that screening piece. And the courts allow us that opportunity to have time to talk with the individual, the individual client or their friends and family that may be living with them, to help them understand that, it may be intrusive. We're coming to your home, but here's the reasons that we are, and all related to safety and security.
And part of being on the program that I know a lot of, I think the participants understand, maybe not sometimes family and friends so much, you actually, part of the program, you waive your rights against some what would be called unreasonable searches.
Absolutely.
If I'm going to participate in your program, I have to agree that it's okay for your staff to come into my house.
Absolutely. Yes.
And that applies for other people in my home too.
Yeah. Absolutely, it does. And it's a you have to be willing, I think, and I don't want to say it is voluntary in many ways. Having the ability to participate in the programs, you have to have a willingness to embrace the program, to embrace the rules, to understand the rules, and work with our team on those things. Absolutely.
Yeah, and when you say it's a lot, it can be a lot of changes for people as well, because I know from some of the clients that I've dealt with over time, they're coming from a life where they may not have a regular schedule, or they may not have any kind of a routine. And one of the things you ask, I have to turn in a schedule.
Absolutely.
Every Friday.
Absolutely.
And I have to know something about what I'm going to be doing the next week.
Planning, right?
Yes.
So you think about and rehabilitation is so much more than than treatment or treatment alone or treatment groups, and all of those things are so very important and an integral part of what we do. But life skills. Life skills training, and part of that is as you say, it's organization, it's planning, it is being task oriented, because all of those skills then translate also to employment and employability and employment skills and being underemployed and advancing that employment. And those are all of our dreams for everybody that we have the privilege of serving. And you're right. And you're so intuitive, Marcia. I mean, you're right. All of the rules and all of the processes are designed for skill building and designed for assisting someone with future success, without a doubt.
I know you often run into people who feel like all of your rules are simply setting them up to fail.
Yes, absolutely.
And that's part of why I wanted to bring some of that out, because you truly do, as your mission statement says, you want to. There's a lot of rehabilitation that goes on. Your predecessor, we had a conversation about some of the shorter term misdemeanor sentences and coming through, and she didn't like the fact that she couldn't work with or program somebody who was there for 10 or 20 days.
It certainly is not our mission. Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. And you look at Allen County and you look at the kind of the map, if you will, of levels of supervision services that are available. And our agency and our mission and by design, we're kind of at the top of that in terms of accountability and supervision requirements. However, that entire map is designed expressly to divert individuals from the Allen County Jail, from the Indiana Department of Correction. And you accomplish that sometimes with kind of varying levels of supervision. And again, and as you point out, these kind of patterns and rules that are designed to develop habits, and habits then turn into better success moving forward.
And you do work with budgeting.
Absolutely.
Also.
Oh, my goodness, yes. Absolutely, yeah.
Now, you also have some board oversight. There's a board that's involved with
absolutely.
your agency.
So we serve all of the local courts here in Allen County, but we don't work for any one of the local courts. So community corrections in Indiana is statutorily designed. And part of that statute is the development or the design of our oversight advisory board. So the statute sets out the mandatory members of an advisory board that is responsible then for administering a community corrections program. We're very fortunate. The statute indicates that we should have to have the elected prosecutor or county commissioners or the judges, community individuals. And we have folks that staff and come to our board. They don't send proxies. They come. The sheriff, all of the local judges, again, the county commissioners appoint themselves and are very, very active members of our board. So we're so fortunate in the support that we get from our board and from the communities. But absolutely. So we're administered by that statutorily designed advisory board.
And there's some state oversight as well because of this legislative
Absolutely.
design.
Yeah, absolutely there is. And funding is a constant challenge. We're very well supported, and we do a great job. And that's not me saying that. That's me saying I have a really committed group of individuals that are inspired, and they inspire me. They sit in rooms and they talk about things like honor and work ethic and how can we help more and what more can we do. It unlike anything that I've ever experienced, and amazing folks. But funding is a challenge, and while we're very well taken care of, we receive funding from the Department of Correction, from local government, and a myriad of other grants and opportunities like that. But that is all part of kind of that board responsibility and the administrative side of keeping us moving forward.
Awesome. Well, Kim, I think we've learned a lot about your agency, more than I'm just going to be sitting at home for a certain amount of time. Allen County Corrections is a program that helps people who've been convicted stay in the community, focusing on keeping them employed, keeping them in programming to assist them in returning to the community, and hopefully not coming back into the criminal justice system.
Absolutely.
I want to thank you so much for your time in being here this evening.
Yeah.
And that's On the Level with LINSKY for this week. We'll see you next time.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.